This story, it's not really just about a trip. It's about that moment. That first time you realize, wow, the world is so much bigger and way more complicated than you ever thought.
So yeah, how can a simple bus ride reveal life's biggest mysteries? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the story of an 8-year-old girl. Her short little trip from her village to the next town over, it ends up being this incredibly deep, totally unexpected brush with, well, life and death itself.
All right, so it all kicks off with our main character, Volley, and this dream she has. It starts out as this tiny little wish, something that just keeps nagging at her. But pretty soon, it blows up into this huge, all-consuming obsession.
So this is Volley. Just imagine. For her, the whole wide world is basically what she can see from her front doorstep. She doesn't have any playmates her age, so her favorite thing to do isn't playing games. Nope. It's just watching the constant show of the street unfold right in front of her.
And out of everything she saw, one thing, just one thing, totally captivated her. The bus. I mean, to Volley, this bus was everything. It was like this endless source of fun, a moving show packed with new people, and it held this promise of a whole other world, just a little bit out of her grasp.
And you know what happens next, right? Watching just wasn't going to cut it anymore. That fascination she felt every day, it started to bubble up into this powerful, just overwhelming desire. She didn't just want to ride that bus, she had to. It stopped being a simple wish and turned into a full-blown mission.
Okay, so having a dream is one thing, but Volley, she was a girl of action. Seriously, with this kind of maturity that you just don't see in an 8-year-old, she started to lay out the plans for her secret expedition. And I mean meticulously.
The way she went about this was just incredible for a kid her age. She wasn't just daydreaming, oh no. She was planning. She basically turned into a little secret agent, gathering intel, saving up every cent with some serious discipline, and just waiting, biding her time for that one perfect moment to start her big adventure.
And just look at the details she managed to get. She was basically eavesdropping on her neighbors' conversations, and she learned everything she needed to know. The town? 6 miles away. The trip? 45 minutes. And the fare, one way, was 30 paise. See? This wasn't some fantasy. She had cold, hard data to make this happen. Now, getting the money together, that was the real test. 60 paise for a round trip. That meant every single coin she found, she saved. Can you imagine the willpower? She had to say no to peppermints, toys, balloons, all those things a kid wants. But for her, this bus ride was so much more important than any of that.
And the last piece of the puzzle, the masterstroke, was the timing. She knew, like clockwork, that her mom always took a nap right after lunch. That was it. That was her window of opportunity. This little slice of time where she could sneak out, go on her whole adventure, and be back before anyone was the wiser. So the big day finally comes. There she is, standing at the bus stop, all confidence. She flags down the bus and gets ready to climb on. And the conductor, who's this really friendly, cheerful guy, he's just so amused by this little kid who's taking her trip so seriously, he kind of chuckles and calls her Madam, which is perfect, right? It's like he sees how grown up she's trying to be. And just like that, she's on. The dream is real. But the world she's about to see through that bus window, let's just say it's way more intense and a whole lot more complicated than she ever could have imagined. So at first, she can't even see out. There's this canvas blind in the way. But Volley? She's not going to let that stop her. No way. Without even thinking about it, she just pops right up and stands on her seat. She has this pure, unstoppable need to just see it all, to take in everything. And right here, this is the moment everything pivots. On the ride to town, she sees this young cow, just so full of life, running right in the middle of the road, tail up in the air. It's just a joyful, funny sight, and she's laughing her head off. But then, on the way back home, she sees the exact same cow, only now it's just lying there, lifeless, on the side of the road. And in that 1 second, poof, everything changes. All that excitement she felt is just gone, snuffed out. That beautiful, amazing world she saw just an hour ago is now covered in this shadow of sadness and confusion. The happy memory of the running cow is now completely haunted by the image of it lying still. So, when they get back to her village, that nice conductor notices how quiet she's gotten, and he offers to buy her a drink. But Volley just says no. I mean, sure, she's super independent, we've seen that, but it's more than that, isn't it?
This whole thing she just went through, it's hers, and she has to sort through it on her own.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? What did she actually learn? Well, in this last part, we're going to look at the huge lesson Vali took home with her, a lesson she'd never ever talk about, but one that would stick with her forever.
I mean, think about it. The actual bus ride was only a few hours long, but the journey that happened inside her head, that was massive. She went from the highest high of pure kid excitement and joy all the way down to the low of shock and sadness. And she came home with this totally new, much more serious understanding of how the world works.
And just like she planned, she gets home and slips right back into the house before her mom even wakes up. Her epic adventure, her first real look at that huge gap between being alive and not, it stays her secret. That whole completely life-altering experience is hers and hers alone. And really, that's what this is all about. It wasn't just a bus ride, was it? She saw firsthand how something can be beautiful and so alive one minute and then just gone the next. For a little 8-year-old kid, that is a massive realization. So I guess I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When was the first time you realized that the world could be both incredibly beautiful and heartbreakingly tragic all at once?